تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشاء نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أن نطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب الرحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد رحم الله من قال الفاتحة.
بخشود امام زمان بلندتر صلوات اللہ مرسی کے چند شعر مولانا کی اجازت سے. سکینہ بی بی کے بین عرفان حرم میں محشر اٹھا رہے ہیں بپا حیران ڈھونڈ میں شور ماتم حسین مرنے کو جا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی کہیں پغش میں پڑے ہیں عابد کہیں پباقر تڑپ رہا ہے وہ چند بچے سسک رہے ہیں وہ چند آنسو بہا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی بڑی قیامت کا ہے یہ منظر جناب فضا کا امتحان ہے بہن سے چھپ کر حسین بے کس لباس کو ہونا منگا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی کہاں ہو عباس اون و اکبر کہاں ہو قاسم حسن کے دل بر سواری لاؤ رکاب تھامو امام تم کو بلا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی سمو سے گھوڑے کہ ایک بچی لپٹ گئی بے قرار ہو کر بنا کے باہوں کا اپنی جھولا حسین اس کو سلا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی وہ حشر اٹھا وہ تیغ چمکی وہ تیر برسے وہ آئے پتھر حسین پوچھتے فرس پہ بیٹھے لہو میں اپنے نہا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی زمیں پزی سے وہ آئے مولا وہ چھا گیا ہر طرف اندھیرا نبی کے دین کی اساس رکھنے حسین سجدے میں جا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی ارے کوئی شمر سے یہ کہہ دے ابھی نہ خنجر چلا ستم گر بطول بالی پا آ چکی ہیں رسول مقتل میں آ رہے ہیں نبی کے بیٹے کا فرق اقدس قرآن سے کم نہیں ہے ناصر نہ جانے کیسے ہیں یہ مسلمان قرآن پہ خنجر چلا رہے ہیں سکینہ بی بی بخشنود امام زمان بلندتر صلوات
محمد و آل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی اللہ
Can you please recite Surah Fatiha for Marhum Ayatollah Khamenei, all the Marhumin and Shuhada, Marhuma Nasim Fatima, the mother of Farabai Sheikh, and all the Marhumin al-Fatiha. Can I please request Mullah Sahib to come and deliver the Majlis Muhammadi wa Ali Muhammad Salawat. حبيب خدا ختم الأنبياء محمد وآل محمد صلوات
اللهم صل على السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Mu'mineen, you are requested to recite Surah Al-Fatiha for Marhum Sayyid Yusuf Hussain, Sayyid Ali Muhammad, Sayyid Razia Ali Muhammad, and mother of Farabai, Sheikh Nadeem, and all Mu'mineen, Mu'minat, those have departed from this dunya, and our Marhumin, inshallah. Al-Fatiha. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي القرشي المدني بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتخبين المنتجبين. أما بعد، فقد قال إمام زماننا عليه السلام: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشهد أنك كنت للرسول ولدا وللقرآن سندا وللأمة عضدا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Respected Mu'mineen, as you all know that we are commemorating the 10th of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and the Ashab and the Ansar of Imam al-Hussein. And indeed, in these majalis, we always try our level best to remember Abu Abdullah and the Ashab of Imam al-Hussein and the event of Karbala. When it comes to event of Karbala and Imam al-Hussein and his Ashab, you find all our Imams of Ahlul Bayt, they try their level best to find more an opportunity to say something about Imam al-Hussein and about Karbala and Ashab of Imam al-Hussein. For example, even Rasulullah, when he find an opportunity, he mentioned Abu Abdullah and he mentioned the event of Karbala. Imam Amirul Mu'mineen, when he finds an opportunity and he passes from the place which is called, when he was returning from Siffin and he passes from Karbala, so he indicate over there and he stops his ashab and says that this land, it is a holy land. Over here, the best people of this world are going to be buried and they are going to be slaughtered at this land. And similar to that, Imam al-Mushtaba, our fourth Imam, it is mentioned in riwayat that now and then he is mentioning Karbala. Abul Fazl Abbas' son just passes in front of him. So Imam Zainul Abidin mentioned Karbala and he says he is the son of our uncle Abbas, who sacrificed everything on the Imam of his time. And then when you come to Imam al-Baqir, he made majlis in Mina. Imam al-Sadiq, he made majlis at his home. calling shu'ara, giving a speech, giving them understanding about the Karbala. And when you come to the Imam Zaman, even Imam Zaman did not spare, did not leave this zikr. And there is a ziyarat which is called ziyarat nahiya. Actually, there are three versions of ziyarat nahiya. Ziyarat nahiya has been reported from Imam Zaman. And one of his, sahabi, he brought it and he handed over to the ulama. Sheikh Mufid, he has written in his book. Also, Sayyid Ibn Ta'us in Iqbal, in his book, very famous book of the du'as. So he has mentioned this ziyarat nahiya over there. And Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi in Nafs al-Mahmum. So there are several ulama, and Sheikh Mufid is not a recent ulama, it's a very old ulama in 400 Hijri, which was very close to the time of Imma. In Ghaibat Sughra, this ziyarat has come into our hand. So in that ziyarat, if you look at the ziyarah, this ziyarah actually is a complete history of Karbala. And of course, there are, several narrators, several reporters, alaykum assalam, several reporters. Those have given, the detail of Karbala. Risale Allah, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When I and you give a detail of something, of course, there are so many question marks on there. But when an Imam al-Ma'soom, he gives information about a personality or about an event, it poses a lot of credibility. It poses a lot of authenticity. Imam Zamana, when he, write this ziyarah, so over there he has mentioned, several names of Shuhada of Karbala. Maybe 110 names of Shuhada of Karbala. That's why we say that the Shuhada of Karbala, they are not only 72. If you look at Ziyarat Nahiya, Imam Zamana over there, he has mentioned 110 plus Ashab of Imam al-Hussein. He made salam upon them. And also, there are several, Masa'ib, those are mentioned there. But today, what I would like to, mention before you, how Imam Zamana mentioned and how Imam Zamana gratify the position and the status of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. In that ziyarat, Imam Zamana, when he addressed and when he makes salam on Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, so he said, Ashhadu annaka kunta lirrasuli walada. Actually, 8 characteristics of Imam al-Hussein, or 8 fadail. Imam al-Hussein has been mentioned by holy mouth of Imam of our time. And look at this, segment. Only 2-3 segments I would like to recite in this majlis, inshallah. Rest I will leave it for another time. So how Imam alayhi salam, he made salam and he bear witness in front of, Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Imam Zamana, he is saying, Ashhadu annaka kunta lirrasul walada ya Aba Abdullah, oh my grandfather, I bear witness that you are the son of Rasulullah. Waladan. Kunta lirrasul walada. You are the son of Rasulullah. This status and this position is not a small position, what Imam Zamana is mentioning over there. And of course, this is not genealogical, bond or relationship which Imam Zamana is mentioning for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein to Rasulullah. Actually, this is a spiritual bond, it's a spiritual relationship. Or Imam Zamana is saying, Ya Abu Abdullah, you are inheritor of Rasulullah. You are the one who continue the mission of Rasulullah. So, Ashhadu annaka kunta lirrasuli walada. And of course, on one side, Imam Zamana, he is witnessing and he is endorsing that our grandfather, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, is someone who carried the mission of Rasulullah. But on the other hand, this genealogical relationship, it is also has value, because everyone in those days, even after the demise of Rasulullah, everyone wanted to relate himself with Rasulullah. Once upon a time, Muawiyah bin Sufyan, he comes to Medina, and he gave a speech over there. And when he entered into the haram of Rasulullah, so he made salam on Rasulullah, And he said, Assalamu alayka yabna am. My salam be upon on my uncle, on my son of on the son of my uncle. Because if you go in past, so Banu Hashim and the family of Muawiyah Abi Sufyan, they were, one. But Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, he was sitting over there. So Imam al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, he said, Assalamu alayka ya jaddi ya abi, Rasulullah. That, O Muawiyah, you have proud that Rasulullah, he is son of your uncle. But my proud is greater than your proud. Because Rasulullah, he is my father. He is my, direct grandfather. And that's why, there are so many debate among our ulama and our ai Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, you know that story, how he, presented the position and the status of Abu Abdullah and the Panjatan before Ma'mun al-Rashid. And also, there is an ayah of Quran, very clear ayah, where there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ فَقُلْ تَعَالُوا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ. So over there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that, Ya Rasulullah, after you have presented all the evidence and concrete evidence, now these people, they are stubborn. Call your sons, ask them to bring their son, and you bring your sons. So over there, all Mufassirin, even the Mufassirin of Ahlul Sunnah, they have written that Rasulullah has taken Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein in place of Abna'ana to the Mubahala. So this is, how Imam Zamana is making salam on Abu Abdullah, and he says that I bear witness, kunta lirrasuli walada. Ya Abu Abdullah, you were the son of Rasulullah. And the second segment, walil Qur'ani sanada. Ya Abu Abdullah, you were the sanad of Quran. Sanad, what is the meaning of sanad? In Urdu also we use this sanad, we have, certificate. Sometime when we pass examination, so when we receive a certificate from university, so this certificate is called sanad. And also, sanad means, when we own a house, which is called, deed title, this is also called sanad. Or ownership certificate is called sanad. These documents, or legal documents, whatever legal document you have for your house, so we call it sanad in Arabic. So sanad means something which proves your ownership for your house, for your car, for anything which is belonging to you. If you do not have sanad, so you cannot say that this house, it belongs to me. If you do not have sanad, if you do not have certificate, legal document of your car, any thief can come to you and he can claim, and you do not have any proof. So sanad is something which proves your ownership. So what Imam Zamana is saying to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he said, Ya Abu Abdullah, kunta sanadan lil Quran. Ya Abu Abdullah, you are the sanad of Quran. If you are apart from Quran, Quran will be abolished. Why Imam al-Hussein, he went to Karbala for him to prove Quran. And that's why you see, when Bibi Zainab alayhi salam at the court of Yazid, so Yazid, what did he say? لَعِبَتْ حَاشِمُ بِالْمُلْكِ فَلَا خَبَرٌ جَاءَ وَلَا وَحْيٌ نَزَلْ. So over there he recited poetry and he was celebrating the Jashan that he was victorious in Karbala. And he said, Banu Hashim, they played a game of obtaining a regime, obtaining a government, obtaining a power, and no wahi has been revealed. It was just play of the Banu Hashim. So it means Yazid, he was denying Quran. And he could deny, and he could, bury the Quran over there. Because in that mahfil, in that gathering, there were so many people, and we can say the international, meeting he was holding over there. And in front of all, he was denying the revelation of the Quran. No wahi has been revealed upon Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. And then no one, could bear to stand up and give him answer. So at that juncture, Sayyida Zainab, she find that now I cannot bear anymore. He stood up and he gave a complete khutbah, and she scolded, Yazid ibn Muawiyah, that how can you refute the wahi which has been revealed in my family on my, on my grandfather Rasulullah. So Bibi Zainab, she defended Quran over there. However, there is a obvious ayah in Quran, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. Indeed, we have revealed Quran and we are the protector of the Quran. But how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to protect this Quran? Through Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Recite Allah salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this is one of the, verification of, or one of the meaning of this. Walil Quran sanad. Ya Aba Abdullah, you are the sanad of the Quran. So this is one interpretation. The other interpretation, ulama said, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken the responsibility, or he has taken the guarantee of protection of the Quran. But Allah has taken the guarantee of protection of Quran when it comes to wording, when it comes to letter, when it comes to sentences of the Quran. Of course, no one can change it. But when it comes to interpretation, when it comes to tafsir, when it comes to explanation, so Imam Zamana, he said, Ya Aba Abdullah, you are the real tafsir of Quran. Don't you see? There are so many ayat in Quran. You will not be able to find the tafsir. You will not be able to find the verification of those ayat. For example, there are several types of ayat in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran says, Kutiba alaykum as-siyam, kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. So, commandment of performing the fasting has been revealed by Allah. And there are so many Muslims, mashallah, they practice, this commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is an ayah which says, Aqimus salat. Many Muslims, millions of Muslims, mashallah, they offer namaz and they practice this ayah of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَذِّن لِلنَّاسِ الْحَجِّ, or وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Hajj become wajib. So many Muslims, millions of Muslims, mashallah, they practice Quran. They practice ayat, these ayat. But there are certain ayat in Quran. There are very few people, those who practice those ayat. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran, he says, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. That there are people, when it comes to needy, and when it comes to poor people, these people, they give priority to them over themselves. And can you say, in this dunya, is there anyone who can claim that I always give priority to others when it comes to the, sometimes you are hungry, and the other person, he is hungry. So what do? You sacrifice something. If first of all, you don't give when you are in need of something. But if you want to give, you just share. But rarely you find people, those who sacrifice their hunger, they remain hungry and they give their food to someone who is hungry, except Ahlul Bayt. This stage is very difficult. So Ahlul Bayt, they were at this stage. Just imagine in this world, many people, they do a lot of, charity. But when it comes to appreciation, so everyone from inside, they expect that when I give charity, I have to be appreciated. I have to be appreciated by people. You give charity, mashallah, for example, in majalis, or in building this center. But if you are sick, if you are not appreciated, it is hard to you, isn't it? But Ahlul Bayt, for example, if you look at Surah Dahr, Hal Ata, what Ahlul Bayt they say when they give charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what do they say? La nuridu minkum jaza'an wala shakura. Even we are not in need of appreciation of them. We do not expect any appreciation from them. So verification of these ayat, they are only Ahlul Bayt, they are only Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Or for example, about Surah Fajr, Allah subhanahu, there is a hadith and which is reported from our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahumma salli ala. He says over there, اقرأوا سورة الفجر في فرائضكم ونوافلكم فإنها سورة الحسين بن علي. Read Surah Al-Fajr in your mustahab salat, in your wajib salat. Why? Because this surah is Surah Al-Hussein. This surah, it is surah of Abba. However, Abba Abdullah al-Hussein was martyred after 50 years of this, revelation of this surah. This surah has been revealed or had been revealed before the martyrdom of Abba Abdullah al-Hussein. But there was no verification of this surah until 50 years. When Abu Abdullah al-Hussein comes, he becomes the verification of ayat of this surah. And what are those ayat at the end of this year? Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna irja'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyya. So this nafs mutma'inna, it is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And therefore, when Imam as-Sadiq, he mentioned this hadith, a man, he was sitting over there. He asked Imam, Ya Imam, why you are saying that this surah, it is Surah Al-Hussein? So Imam responded, فَهُوَ ذُو النَّفْسِ الْمُطْمَئِنَّةِ الرَّاضِيَّةِ الْمَرْضِيَّةِ مِنْ آلِ Muhammad. Yes, because Imam al-Hussein, he is the verification of Nafsul Mutma'inna, who is Razi, who agreed with Allah and Allah agreed with him. So there is no one. It's Abu Abdullah al-Hussein on the land of Karbala. He himself recited. Ya ayyatuhan, he received this nida'i ghaibi, unseen voice, and the voice of Allah's voice of angels. That ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna irja'i ila rabbika radiyatan mardiyya. And similar to that, there is an ayah in Quran very famous. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ. So this ayah, Allah said that indeed, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّ, we are going to put you into test and trial. بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ, number one, test and trial, khawf, fear. مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ. وَالْجُوعِ, hunger. وَالْأَنفُسِ, by life. وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَاتِ, نَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ, poverty, lack of food, lack of water. وَالثَّمَرَاتِ, you need to sacrifice in the way of Allah subhanahu, your children. You see, at one time, there is no one on the surface of earth who can be the verification of this ayah except the Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So that's why Imam Zamana, what he said, Kunta sanadan lil Quran. You are the sanad. You are the support. You are someone who can authenticate the ayat of the Quran. Otherwise, Quran would remain meaningless if you are not there. So this is number two characteristic. And then Imam Zaman Ajjallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif recite Allah Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. He says, Kunta lil Rasuli walada walil Qur'ani sanada walil ummati aduda. Ya Abu Abdullah, number one, you were the son of Rasulullah. Number two, Ya Abu Abdullah, you were the sanad, you were the certificate of the Quran. Number three, walil ummati aduda. Ya Abu Abdullah, you were the adud of ummat, this nation of Rasulullah. What is the meaning of adud? Adud, they call it, arm. This, what you call bazu. Urdu mein kehte hain ki bazu. In Arabic we call it adud. But when it comes to Quran, walil ummati aduda, that Ya Abu Abdullah, you were the arm of ummat. Means you were the real support to the ummah. Like in Urdu we call, when someone who is very close to us, let's say when our, brother passed away, or when our son passed away, or when our father. So we say, my hand is broken, or my arm is broken. So this is called in Arabic adud. That so over here, what Imam Zamana is saying, he said, Ya Aba Abdullah, you were the power and you were the real support to the ummah, ummah of Rasulullah. Since you were martyr, they did not lose you. Actually, they lost their power. And because of your lose, ummah was drowned in difficulties and in problem. So this adud also has been used in Quran. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran, he says, وَمَا كُنْتَ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُضِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at one juncture, he says that I never ever regard, I never ever ordain someone who is astray as my adud, as my arm. What does it mean? Allah wanted to say that if someone who is astray, he cannot be my arm, he cannot be my support. Who is going to be my support? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that my support is someone who is not into astray, who is not astray man, who is not deviated man. So what Allah said, I never ever make my support someone who is astray, who is misled person. So this is a concept, in our madhab, especially in madhab of tashayyu, that you cannot take support, no matter in what condition you are. You cannot take support from the astray one or someone who is misled person. For example, someone comes to you and he says, you are in need of, expanding this center, and I have £1 million with me, but all those £1 million I have stolen from the government or from someone. Will you accept it? Will your madhab allow you to, take such a donation, which is a haram thing? Of course, our madhab, it says, no, you are not allowed to take it. And similar to that, when Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, he become, the Khalifa, so people, they started paying the bay'ah on the hand of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And when it comes to Muawiyah Abi Sufyan, he refused because he was governor of the Sham from the time of Uthman. So Muawiyah, he wrote a letter and he sent this news to Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, Ya Ali, if you keep my position, I will pay bay'at on your hand. So people, they come to Amir al-Mu'mineen, they said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, why don't you take bay'at? Why don't you keep Muawiyah Abi Sufyan on his position, which he has been given by previous, Khalifa Uthman? So keep him and make him appoint him as your governor in Sham. So why don't you? So later on, you can change, you can, dismiss him. Once he paid the bay'ah, Imam alayhi salam, he said, what is the guarantee that I will remain alive tomorrow? So if I appoint him, so then Imam alayhi salam, he recited this ayah. He presented this concept that yes, this khilafah, it is a divine mission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am in need of support, but I cannot take support from someone or from something which is astray, which is, misled, which is an evil thing. So, and similar to that, when it comes to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, when he comes to Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Juhfi, so what Imam alayhi salam, he said to Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Juhfi, Imam said to Ubaydullah, oh Ubaydullah, your mazi, your past is evil past. You have evil past. Join me and come to Karbala. Your past sin will be washed. But he refused. But what did he say? Yeah, Imam, I cannot come with you, but I'm ready to give my armament. I'm ready to give you, swords and horses and money and this and that. Imam uses the same principle. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, that I never ever ordain my support someone which is evil. So Imam alayhi salam, he said, because you are evil, and your money is evil, I'm in need of support. But evil support cannot be accepted by Abu Abdullah. And similar to that, when it comes to Rasulullah, at the time of Badr, some munafiqeen, some kuffar, they come to Rasulullah. And they were kuffar, real kuffar, obvious. They said, Ya Rasulullah, we are not going to accept Islam. But we are ready to give you support in the battle of Badr. But one condition. Once we conquer the battle of Badr, we are in need of money. Give us some mal ghanimat, give us some, war booty. But Rasulullah said, no, this condition is not accepted. You have to accept Islam, and no condition is there. If you are, Rasulullah rejected it. Why? Because evil support cannot be accepted. Even on Ashura day, night of Ashura, there was a Sahabi of Imam al-Hussein, and he comes to Abu Abdullah, and he said, Mawla, I have, trust of people on my shoulder. What should I do? Should I present my shahadat? Imam said, no, it is wajib on you to pay your loan back. Because if you have right of others on your shoulder, such a shahadat is not going to benefit you. Just imagine. So Imam Zamana is calling Abu Abdullah al-Hussein that Ya Abu Abdullah kunta aduda. That Ya Abu Abdullah kunta adudan lil ummati aduda. Ya Abu Abdullah, you were the arm, you were the real support, you were the firm support to this ummah, and you were the sanad of Quran. And that's why you see, even after the martyrdom of Abu Abdullah, when the head of Imam al-Hussein was chopped, or it was chopped, and they raised it on a spear, so Imam al-Hussein head is reciting Quran. That is why Imam Zamana is saying, kunta sanadan lil Quran. Oh, my grandfather Abu Abdullah, you were the sanad. Because he was sanad. That's why he is reciting Quran from the top of Neza. And when Abu Abdullah al-Hussein passed away, when Ashab, they presented their qurbani, their sacrifice on Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and this caravan has been taken to Kufa, and Imam Zainul Abidin, he is in dungeon of Kufa, or he is in prison of Kufa. Historian, they have written on 13th of Muharram, Imam Zainul Abidin, out of miracle, out of Ajaz, he come to Karbala. And here at Karbala, all shuhada bodies, they are lying on the floor. When Bani Asad women come to take water from Farat, and they saw that the dead bodies of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and his Ansar and his Ashab and his relative, they are lying on the floor without kafan. And they all giving the nur from there. Then these women, they started crying. They started making matam. And they come back to their houses. And they said to their men that you are sitting at home, and Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, that body and his relative body and his Ansar bodies are lying on the floor without the kafan. Go and give them the ghusl and kafan. Go give them the burial. So these these men of Banu Asad, they come to Karbala, and they observe that there is a body which is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein body, which is illuminating like a moon, like a sun. So they understood that this is the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So they wanted to bury the body of Imam al-Hussein first. But historians, they have written, all men of Banu Asad, they tried their level best to lift the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, but they could not. History here, it narrates that at that juncture, Imam Zainul Abidin come toward the Karbala. When Banu Asad men observed that someone is coming, they had fear of, Banu Umayyah. So they thought that maybe Banu Umayyah man is coming. But when Imam Zainul Abidin arrived at the land of Karbala, he started crying, oh my madloom Baba, oh my thirsty Baba. Then those people realized that he is not someone who is enemy of them. He is someone who is close. And then they come forward and they said, who are you? He said that I am the son of Abu Abdullah. They said, we try our level best to lift the body of Abu Abdullah, but we were not able. Imam said that the janaza of Imam cannot be recited, or the body of Imam cannot be buried except the Imam. Then Imam Zainul Abidin, history I have written, history I have seen, wallahi, it is something very, disappointing. Historians, they have written that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam body was cut into 33 pieces. There is another narration which says 44 pieces. Another narration says that Imam alayhi salam body, Imam al-Hussein body was cut into 70 pieces. And that's why Imam Zainul Abidin, he take a mat and he put all the parts of body in that mat and then he buried it. And not only this janazah, after the burial of Habib ibn Madahir, because Habib ibn Madahir, he was from same family of Banu Asad. Banu Asad, they requested Imam Zainul Abidin that Mawla, would you allow us to bury Habib ibn Madahir separately, then Ganja Shahida. And after that, Banu Asad men, they wanted to go back, but Imam Zainul Abidin, he said, no, yes, there is still one janaza. He said, with whose janaza? He said, it is my uncle janaza. And all of them, they come to the close of the Farat, and over there, Abul Fazl Abbas janaza is lying. I have seen one history that people after the demise or after the martyrdom of Abul Fazl Abbas, Umar ibn Sa'ad Lashkar, they had severe fear of Abul Fazl Abbas in their head or in their heart. And therefore, Umar ibn Sa'ad, he said to 15 people to take their swords and go to the dead body of Abul Fazl Abbas and cut an attack on Abul Fazl Abbas' body. And that's why we can say that the Abul Fazl Abbas qata'uhu irban irba. Abul Fazl Abbas' body was cut into pieces, and that's why Imam Zainul Abidin, he made a small qabr and he put all the parts of the body of Abul Fazl Abbas, and he put his head on the chest of Abul Fazl Abbas, and he said, "Oh Uncle Abbas, my auntie Zainab, she is conveying salam from the prison of Kufa." وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات وإنك منزل البركات وإنك على كل شيء قدير رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة.
मिलके सब मातमे शबीर करें 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 ये मातम पहचान हमारी इस पे जान कुर्बान हमारी जिस्म यही है जान हमारी ये मातम है शान हमारी कहता है ईमान हमारा सारे जवान और पीर करें मिलके सब मातमे शबीर करें मिलके सब मातमे शबीर करें ये मातम मजलूम का मातम ज़हरा के मासूम का मातम पानी से महरूम का मातम तेग तले हलकूम का मातम इस मातम से हम जो चाहें वक्त को जंजीर करें मिलके सब मातमे शबीर करें मिलके सब मातमे शबीर करें मातम क्या ये शेख का अलम है یہ ماتم تو دین کا بھرم ہے، جس سے خوشی ہو وہ یہ غم ہے، حق کا یہی ماتم پرچم ہے، اس پرچم کو اس ماتم کو سینوں پہ تحریر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں۔ اصغر تیری پیاس کا ماتم، اکبر کا عباس کا ماتم، حسرت کا ریاس کا ماتم، حاصل ہے احساس کا ماتم، لاکھ زمانہ ہم کو روکے ہم اس کی تشہیر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں۔ عابد کی زنجیر کا ماتم، خشک گلے اور تیر کا ماتم، زینب کا شبیر کا ماتم، دل سے کریں دلگیر کا ماتم، یہ ماتم زینب نے کیا تھا ہم اس کی تفسیر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں۔ کہہ دیں گے ریحان و سرور حشر میں جب خاتون محشر پوچھیں گی یہ بات جو آ کر، چاہیے کیا ماتم کی بنا پر، ہم کہہ دیں گے ہم کو غلام شبر و شبیر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں، مل کے سب ماتم شبیر کریں۔ دل با دل سینہ بسینہ کربلا تعمیر کریں۔ درود محمد والے۔
Inshallah, it's not namaz time. We will inshallah ziyarat after namaz, inshallah.